I hear that the labor rights and their apologies is like we stir up a ant's nest with the school bus remark. So I want to deal with it here tonight. Yes, I raised the alarm and one, so when I want to kill off poor people picking with some old bus. And I make no apology for that. We drove on the junction in a tour bus. And let me tell you something. It was a bit unnerving when we were on the bus tour. But the CEO of the bus company assured us when they buy those buses new, they have to get specially spec'd packages for them. They can't have the long overhang at the back. They have the proper transmission system for our hilly terrain. They have auxiliary braking systems, what you call engine brake, where you see the trucks and the coaches that coming down hills use as a backup braking system. We don't know if these school buses have those. But what we know the school buses have is the long overhang. When you go around the corners and the narrow roads, they swing out where you get from that overhang. Who knows what that can do to the poor pedestrians and we have no sidewalk on those roads. But when those brakes, can you imagine those brakes coming down Plowden Hill, Pusey Hill, what are any of them steep hills? When those brakes, there's a phenomenon called brake fade. And let me tell you something, comrades, if that happened. And you know, it's like when God work with you. Because the people in this constituency will understand more than most the risk to our children on school buses. How many catastrophic accidents have we had with homo children? Val, we're tired of you.
Hello patriots and lovely people, welcome to another exciting episode of my YouTube channel. This is the Diaspora Review. I'm your host, the one and only Sam. And before we dive into today's hot topic, please take a moment to do 3 simply amazing things for me. Like, share, and subscribe. Your support truly helps this channel to grow and reach a wider audience. So, let us talk about the great school bus debate, safety, suitability, and a political spin. Okay. The introduction of new school buses in Jamaica has ignited a fair debate, sparking significant concerns about their safety and suitability for the unique Jamaican terrain. Beyond that, people are also questioning the accountability of the program and the overall intent and impact of the new initiative. Are these buses safe? Peter Bunting thinks not. Okay, Peter Bunting of the People's National Party, or PNP, has been sounding the alarm loudly. He insists that these are nothing more than retired old buses, with many being over 10 to 15 years old and boasting hundreds of thousands of miles on the odometer. He claims these vehicles were pulled out of circulation in the United States because of their engines are tired, their suspensions are worn, and their wiring systems are brittle. Bunting further argues that these buses have endured years of salted roads which corrodes their frames and brake lines, rendering them not considered safe enough for American children or simply too inefficient for their original purpose. Okay, he is particularly worried about the risk of brake fade on Jamaica's steep hills like Plowden Hill or Pusey Hill. He also questions whether they possess essential safety feature for the challenging terrain such as the proper transmission system or auxiliary braking systems like engine brakes. A major concern Bunting highlights is the long overhang of these buses. He warns that these could dangerously swing on the narrow roads and corners, potentially harming poor pedestrians, especially given the widespread lack of sidewalks in Jamaica. So he even brought up past catastrophic accidents involving children, suggesting a grim potential outcome if these buses are indeed unsafe. But why is he saying that these buses are not built for Jamaican roads? Okay, Bunting is adamant that these buses were primarily used in cities with flat streets and wide lanes in the United States. He argues they were not built for this terrain or of hilly parishes like Manchester, Trelawney, Clarendon, and even St. Elizabeth, even when they were new, much less now, or now at 10 to 15 years old with such high mileage. Okay, beyond the buses themselves, there are serious questions about how the government plans to ensure accountability, monitoring, safety, and timely pickups for this state-operated system. How will they decide which 20,000 children benefit, and how many drivers does this ambitious plan actually need? Okay, there are also concerns about how taxpayers' money will be measured to ensure it is being spent for the intended purpose. Without a more defined plan, some people describe the initiative as chaos written all over it. And people have a different view when it comes to maintenance and inclusivity. So, however, not everyone agrees with Peter Bunting and the PNP. A strong counter perspective urges Jamaicans not to believe anything Peter Bunting and the PNP are saying about these school buses. We have proponents asserting that these school buses will not serve us as long as we serve them, which is to take good care of them and ensure they get proper maintenance. They argue this is true for any vehicle, whether brand new or used. A significant benefit highlighted by supporters is that these school buses are disabled and wheelchair accessible. This means that our students who are disabled won't be left behind and can equally have access to these school buses for a comfortable and safe ride to school. This is a huge step forward for inclusivity. From a political standpoint, one supporter expressed profound disappointment with the PNP's negative reaction, calling it rubbish. They contrast it sharply with the current administration's efforts, describing them as the best I've ever seen in Jamaica for building the country. This supporter accuses the PNP of history of inaction and bringing criminal crime and thievery into Jamaica, associating their ideology with socialism and viewing their current criticism as attempts to bring down Jamaica and cause poverty. So, of course, these buses will have societal and economic ripple effects. What are these? Okay, listen up. This school bus program, if implemented, will undoubtedly have both societal and economic impacts. So let us talk about the potential societal impacts. And the safety concerns raised by Peter Bunting imply a significant risk to the safety of Jamaican children and pedestrians. He's stark warning that all buses will kill off poor people picnic paints a grim picture. He emphasizes that these buses were pulled out of circulation in the United States because their engines are tired, their suspensions are worn out, their wiring systems are brittle, and have suffered from years of salted roads which corrode the frames and the brake lines. He reiterates that they were not built for Jamaica's hilly terrain, and even when new, they wouldn't have been ideal, let alone at their current age. The potential for long overhang, causing swing out on narrow roads, risking harm to poor pedestrians where there are no sidewalks, and the danger of breakfast on steep hills are also serious considerations. On a positive note, the fact that these buses are disabled and wheelchair accessible is a major win for inclusivity. This ensures that the Jamaican students who are disabled won't be left behind and can have a comfortable and safe ride to school, promoting equal access to education for all. However, without a more concrete plan, the program risks chaos and a lack of accountability. The questions about how accountability, monitoring, safety, and timely pickups will be ensured and how they will decide which 20,000 children benefit imply a concern about disorganization and an inequitable distribution of benefits. This program has also become a focal point for public perception and political divisions. Peter Bunting has doubled down on his stance that the buses are old and they are going to kill off school picnic, reportedly stirring up strong reactions among labor rights groups. One self-identified PNP supporter even called Bunting's comments rubbish, suggesting his reaction could be the final nail in the PNP's coffin. This individual strongly supports the current administration for bringing in the buses, contrasting the efforts with the past administrations and hailing them as the best government Jamaica has ever seen before for building the country. The debate also highlights broader political ideologies, with one speaker associating the PNP with criminal crime and thievery and socialism. So, up next, let us discuss the implied economic impacts of these old buses in Jamaica. There are significant questions about taxpayers' money and value for purpose. Concerns about how taxpayers' money that you're going to run is being spent for the intended purpose. Implied worries about the significant, the efficiency and justification of public expenditure on these buses. While proponents argue that the buses will serve as long as we serve them, which is to take good care of them and make sure that they get the proper maintenance. The description of the buses as retired old buses with hundreds of thousands of miles on the clock, tired engines, worn suspensions, and brittle wiring systems implies that significant ongoing maintenance costs will be necessary to ensure their functionality and safety. The fact that they were deemed too inefficient for American children also suggests they may not be economically viable in the long run. So, we have Peter Bunting also questioning the operational efficiency of the program, asking about the number of drivers needed and how will you measure that taxpayers' money that you're going to run is being spent for the intended purpose. This suggests concerns about the overall economic sustainability of the program. Okay, there has been different factions and different views on this whole debate. So let us take a look at this. And the school bus initiative is clearly being perceived and characterized in distinct ways by various political factions, ranging from strong condemnation to staunch support. Peter Bunting and the PNPs have a strong condemnation on these buses. So Peter Bunting and the People's National Party strongly condemn the initiative, characterizing the buses as old and dangerous. Bunting has boldly stated he raised the alarm because the buses are going to kill off poor people picnic. And it makes makes no and he has said that he makes no apology for that. He describes the buses as tired old buses. Many are over 10 to 15 years old with hundreds of thousands of miles on the clock. He asserts that they have pulled out of circulation, has been pulled out of circulation in the United States because their engines are tired, their suspensions are worn out, their wiring systems are brittle, and many were subject to years of salted roads, which corrode the frames and brake lines. Okay, I've been talking about this for time and again. So Bunting claims that these buses were deemed either not considered safe enough for American children or were too inefficient. He expresses significant concerns about their suitability for Jamaica's hilly terrain, noting they were primarily used in cities with flat streets and wide lanes and were not built for this terrain when they were new, much less when they are 10 and 15 years old with hundreds of thousands of miles. He raises specific safety concerns about the long overhang causing potential danger to pedestrians and narrow roads and the risk of brake fail on tipping. Furthermore, Bunting questions the overall plan's viability, suggesting it will lead to chaos written all over it without clear measures for accountability, monitoring, safety, timely pickups, and criteria for benefiting children or measuring the spending of the taxpayers' money. However, on the other hand, we have the proponents of the initiative, their staunch defense. What are they talking about? So, those who support the initiative often refer to as the labor rights by Bunting, implying GLP and the government supporters defend the school bus program and counter the PNP's criticism. They have explicitly stated that do not believe anything that Peter Bunting and the PNP are saying about these school buses. They characterize the buses as capable of serving well as long as we serve them, which is to take good care of them and ensure they get the proper maintenance. And that's the case with any vehicle, whether it's brand new or used. You must maintain it. And they highlight a crucial positive aspect. The buses are disabled, yes. I mean the disabled and wheelchair accessible, meaning that the students who are disabled won't be left behind. They can equally have access to the school buses and have a comfortable and safe ride to school. So, what are your thoughts on this contentious school bus program? Do you agree with Peter Bunting's concerns, or do you believe these buses will be beneficial? Will be a beneficial addition for Jamaican students? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to share this video, like, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Being your host for today, Sam, and this is the Diaspora. I hope to see you in my next video. Peace out.